Hi, Athens, Georgia. How y'all doing? My name is Radical Russ Belville. You can find me, Radical Russ, everywhere online. And I am the host of the Russ Belville Show on CannabisRadio.com, a live, daily, 2-hour talk radio program all about the legalization of marijuana. We are the NPR of POT. I've been all over this country lately. Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, Las Vegas, Baltimore, Washington, Arlington, New York City, Columbia, South Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, and now I'm here in Athens, Georgia for my first time ever. You guys have an excellent town here, loving it. And the reason I'm here because this is the Athens Human Rights Festival. And a lot of people don't recognize the fact that using cannabis is a human right. Nobody's got the right to tell us what comes out of the earth is not for us. And whether you're a religious person, if you are, look on page 1. If you're not a religious person, it doesn't matter. Because this is nature, and we are a part of nature, and we have the human right to do with the plants on this planet what we choose, so long as we do not harm someone else. And when we're living in a country where alcohol is accepted and legalized and often promoted, we certainly can't have any logical reason to stop people from using a substance that is far safer than alcohol. And that's not an anti-alcohol thing. I like alcohol. I like to drink a beer or a cider or a cocktail now and then. All we're asking for, those of us who consume cannabis, is to be treated with the same rights and responsibilities as the people who consume alcohol. The fact is, it doesn't matter whether you like marijuana or don't like marijuana, it's here. Plenty of people do like it, and they're going to continue to use it. And trying to criminalize it just means you're going to spend $36,000 a year locking someone up for something that really isn't a crime to anyone. Here in the state of Georgia, the possession of marijuana for 1 ounce or less, which is a personal use amount, is a misdemeanor with a possible 1-year jail sentence, and I think it's a $1,000 fine. That's first offense. Second offense rises. Those amounts get greater. Concentrates, if you know about extracts and hashish, those concentrates, possession of less than 10 grams is a misdemeanor, 1 year, possible $1,000 fine. If you're in possession of more than an ounce or more than 10 grams, it's automatically accepted to be possession with intent to distribute. They don't have to prove you actually sold to anyone. If you got more than that amount, you're a dealer, whether you made a dime on it or not. And you are subject to a felony charge that carries a mandatory minimum 1 year in prison. You're going to jail for a year if they catch you with more than an ounce or more than 10 grams, or a single seed. A single plant is that same felony with a 1 year mandatory minimum. Now I know it costs around 36 grand to lock someone up in the Georgia State Penitentiary for these crimes, and I know that college tuition is expensive these days. So how many kids could we have going to the University of Georgia for the money that we spend locking them up for growing or selling or using a little bit of cannabis? Our president used cannabis. The president before him used cannabis. The president before him used cannabis. Michael Phelps used cannabis. Usain Bolt, the Jamaican sprint star, used cannabis. Carl Sagan, the famous doctor from Cosmos, one of the smartest men on the planet, actually designed the message to the aliens that went out on the Voyager probe. Because if you're going to ask someone to write a message to aliens, you want to pick the guy who smoked a little reefer, right? A little creativity, right? The smartest, most athletic, most creative, most industrious people on this planet use cannabis. I host a live daily 2-hour talk radio show. I publish 2 articles a week on hightimes.com. My current article is in High Times print online. I travel over 100,000 air miles a year doing these types of jobs. I've founded 2 or 3 businesses and helped co-found at least 9 or 10 of the most active NORML chapters in the country. So much for amotivational syndrome. I'm getting up every day at 8 in the morning. I've never worked harder in my life. And I hope you all understand that when we talk about marijuana legalization, I think a lot of times people aren't afraid of pot so much as they're afraid of potheads. right? They're not afraid of, like, if Joe the Vietnam vet wants to smoke a doobie on his back porch at night, who cares? But they're worried about the kids. They're worried about the young people. They're going to do all sorts of crazy things or get hooked on heroin. I'm here to tell you that doesn't happen. I'm from Portland, Oregon. There are 9 different pot shops on the boulevard where I live. And yet, the train still runs on time. People still go to work. Kids still go to school. People who were smoking pot still are. People that weren't smoking pot didn't take it up. Nobody took up heroin that wasn't already using it. In other words, it's been kind of boring, actually. Like, we had all these doom and gloom predictions that the sky would fall and there'd be chaos and blood running in the streets, and it never came to pass. We have the lowest traffic fatality rates that we've ever measured. Same thing in Colorado, same thing in Washington. In fact, the per 100 million miles traveled fatality rates in the 4 legal states are lower than they are in Georgia. Y'all wreck your cars more than us potheads up in the Pacific Northwest. You know why? Because we're sitting there at the stop sign waiting for it to turn green.
That's right.
That's a little joke, but there is a little bit of truth to that. Marijuana doesn't make people belligerent or lose their judgment or behave out of sorts. It makes guitar solos better. It makes Funyuns delicious. But it's not going to cause anyone to beat their wife. It's not going to cause anyone to want to break into someone's house so that they can get their next bowl. That's not the way marijuana works. There are 28 million marijuana consumers in the United States of America. That's more tokers than Texans. There's more people smoking pot than the whole state of Texas. And trust me, there's some in the state of Texas, too. This is a mainstream thing. The latest CBS News poll shows that 56% of the American public supports marijuana legalization, and that 51% of the American public has tried it in their lifetime. So if you've never smoked pot, look to your left, look to your right. I guarantee you one of those people has smoked pot. And you all look like okay people. Most of you look pretty good. There's nothing wrong with it. You have nothing to fear. So I'll leave you with this. Please check out the Peachtree NORML booth. That's Sharon Rayford. She's with Peachtree NORML if you'd like to talk to her. PeachtreeNormal.org is your local chapter. You've got a local chapter right here in Athens. Meets on the second Monday of every month, right over there at Max Cannabis. Get involved, because when you ask me when are they going to legalize marijuana, I ask you, when are you going to legalize marijuana? It's up to all of you. Get registered, vote, get active. Join Peachtree NORML. I'm Radical Russ. See you later.
How many more states do you have to go to?